Hello, this is Walter at Violent Series, and today I'm going to show you how to install our GOG eXTCy trigger. And in the package, when you open it up, cool little sticker we gave you, packaging insert, find a little baggie with a couple of cone-shaped screws, a couple of magnets, a 1/16 and a 3/32 Allen wrench we provide for you, and of course our trigger. You're going to go from a molded plastic trigger to a machined Delrin trigger. I actually use dual ball bearings with extended inners. Instead of the stock pin, we're going to use the cone-shaped screws and actually push on the extended inners. It'll lock those up, and the trigger will be a true bearing trigger. So let's go ahead and get started. We'll open this little packet up. The thing I would recommend doing now, your cone-shaped screws and your two little magnets. The magnets will be for the magnetic tension that's on the trigger, breakaway tension. I have a little well here on the back, and you can either drop one or two of the magnets in. I prefer the two magnets, so I'm just going to leave them in there. It's up to you. If you ever want to reach in and pull them out, you can always get an Allen wrench, reach in the frame and pull them out, stick them back in. It's pretty easy. So we'll go ahead and set two in there. And now go ahead and disassemble the gun. You will need an additional 5/64, a 1/8, and a 5/32 Allen wrenches. These are mine, but those wrenches are provided in the stock spares kit. And we'll go ahead and take off the grips. Always make sure that your gun is degassed. There's no pain in it. Wouldn't want you to get hurt here. Go ahead and pull your battery out, get disconnected, and there's an 1/8 inch screw right here, Allen screw, that you'll need to take off, and the other two of the 5/32 wrench here, loosen those. There's one, and one off the back. You definitely want to hold the body and the frame together at this point. There's still one hose that you need to take out inside. And carefully separate them. There's a board there. And you'll see the one hose. Go into the front there. You want to take your 1/8 inch Allen wrench. Go ahead and loosen that fitting up. Once you've got that out, carefully, I would guide it through, it's a tight fit, your battery terminal through the frame, and you can set that aside. Alright, now you want to go ahead and get the 1/16 inch Allen wrench that we provided. Go ahead and take the stock trigger out by unscrewing this. Pulling the pin out, you can see it's a pin just held in on one side. Now one thing that they did do is they tapped both sides of the frame. So that's how we'll be able to use our cone screws. And we'll pull this stock trigger out the top. Take one of our cone screws here, insert it in. Just want to get it started a little bit. Take the other one, the other side of the frame. Just get it started. Now looking through, what you want to do is screw it through just to where you see the points coming out. Alright. And you want to take the violet trigger, guide it right in. And once you've got it in the middle area there, you can screw the screw in a little more. You'll be able to not only see it kind of from an angle, but also feel in the cone you do have the trigger centered in. Now what you want to do is you want to tighten these screws evenly, and one thing that you want to look for is the gap that's left on each side of the frame. If you do screw it too far in from one side, I don't know if you'll notice that there's a huge gap here. The trigger is going to be binding against the frame. So you want to back it off a little bit, kind of hold the trigger in place, get the other one in. And then you just want to look at your gap spacing right there. As long as it's pretty even, pretty centered in there, and then you want to go ahead and slowly tighten each one down, a little twist here, a little twist there. And you can tighten down on these. You'll feel these getting tight, and they're pushing on the inner of the bearing, and it's locking it in place. So when the trigger actually pivots now, it is a true pivot on the bearings. So it's a true bearing trigger. So I get those just about right. Not too tight. Definitely feel it's not loose. No side-to-side play. Good action on the trigger there. I don't know if a lot of you know, there's an adjustment screw right here. I believe it's an 1/8 inch Allen wrench. And by screwing this screw in, I don't know if you can see, there's a big post here that the magnet is actually attracted to. And by screwing this in and out, I don't know if you can tell, you're actually changing the rake of the trigger. So the more that you screw it in, that screw comes up, pushes on this, and it brings the trigger closer in prior to being activated right here on the micro switch. We usually use it a little loose, and then when you get this installed, you can go ahead and tweak your gun out and adjust it. And of course, this screw right here would adjust how far after the gun fires, how much pull you have afterwards. So this is your post and your pre-travel adjustments. That's basically it. Make sure it's centered. Got a good feel to it. Easily. Just go ahead and put your marker back together. Get that back through. Tighten your hose back on. Carefully. Carefully get your two halves together. Don't forget the little screw up in the front here. It's 1/8.